No, it's not. It's actually not at all we're rowing. We're rowing there.
Hey, my name is Madison. I just moved to Denver and I like to hike. These are Mounts Bierstadt and Blue Sky, and this is the Sawtooth, the jagged spine that connects them. It's a Class 3 scramble, sandwiched by miles of hiking at altitude, and my partner Andrew and I decided it was as good a route as any to take us up our first ever 14,000-foot peaks. Yeah.
Just chilling.
Marmot.
There's another one on the trail directly in front.
We walked slowly into the thinning air, listening to the peace and the calls of pikas, crunching through the September snow as the summit glided nearer.
And then when we get across and up there, we'll do another reevaluation. And if we're not happy, we'll go down immediately. And if we're happy, we'll continue.
Yeah, that sounds like a good deal.
I'm gonna power this Star Crunch and we'll be ready to move.
Yeah.
Probably feel less than 5 minutes from my goal.
Good deal.
There was a small crowd on top of Mount Bierstadt, but nobody followed us as we plunged down the scree field towards the Sawtooth. Scrambling is classified according to the Yosemite decimal system. Class 1 is like the start of that route up Bierstadt. Minimal risk on well-maintained trails you can walk with your hands in your pockets. Class 2 is the second half. Each step requires a little more attention, footing may be unstable, but the risk is still pretty low. Class 3 is a moderate scramble on steep terrain that requires handholds for movement. A fall here would almost certainly result in injury. Class 4 is even steeper and more exposed, with a severe injury risk in the event of a fall. And once you hit Class 5, you are rock climbing, and I strongly recommend a rope. The Sawtooth is rated Class 3, and it definitely is Class 3. But I will admit, for a moment, I had my doubts.
Existential questions. Is it Class 4 or 5?
There is no existential crisis. I exist and I am afraid.
Gets better once you get up. And hold. That moves.
that way?
Yep. This is a solid choice. Couple flakes that move, so careful what you pull on.
I thought you went the wrong way.
Bro, you went the wrong way.
I'm having fun.
I'm having fun. Wow. I was verging on class 5.
It might be.
Might have been class 5.
At least 4.
Yeah, solid 4. A chonky.
5.0.
It was like a chonky 4. Yeah, it wasn't like if I was roped up, I would have been like bored.
Steeper than Clippity Doodah.
Look at this view.
Whatever I may say, I love a good scramble. It's all the fun of rock climbing, but with reliable handholds every time. What I do not like, what I am not at all used to, is unstable, loose terrain. Rocks buried in sand, and you don't know what's rooted and what's floating, and couple that with the exposure on the final leg of the sawtooth, I found myself a little overgripped.
Yeah, my heart's pounding a bit. Although I can't tell if it's elevation or how slippery this mountainside turned out to be.
Your hands bare.
Yes,
Open this, please.
got it. I love the burst of water. I'm like never expecting it. Alright.
At this point in our hike, we had not yet reached halfway. The traverse to the summit of Blue Sky is a solid ways. The air was thin and getting colder by the minute. After what felt like ages, we emerged at the final curve in the summit road, just as the first snowflakes started to fall. A little spur trail brought us to the socked-in summit of Mount Blue Sky. And then we began the long trip down, over the shoulder, past the lone mountain goat, then the herd of mountain goats, then down the steep, loose gully into the valley, and through the muddy willow thicket that would lead us back to smooth trails right around sunset.
The cliff that we descended is pink. It's actually really freaking cool.
Hello, Future Madison here. I figured I would share some takeaways from the hike, namely what was easiest, what was hardest, best gear choice, and worst gear choice. Bierstadt was the easiest. That trail was smoother than any trail I've ever walked on in New Hampshire, at least up until you hit the scree field, and then even then, the footing is really, really solid. If you're looking to take someone up a 14er who's maybe a less confident hiker, that's probably the one I would do. It's beautiful the whole way. It's super easy. It's great. Hardest was the third portion of our hike. The one I really didn't film, we were coming off the shoulder and down into the gully. That gully, that is not a trail. That's just a place that water goes, and that's how you get off the mountain. It's very loose. It's very steep. It's totally doable. I fell quite a lot. And then you get down the gully and you come to this area that's called the Bushwhack, which I actually thought was going to be worse. It sounded like you're sort of breaking trail through these willows. No, you're just walking through mud and some overgrown willows, but it is a passable trail. Gear choices. My number one, glad I had it gear choice, my helmet. I am assuming that most people who complete this route, or at least a good number of people, don't wear a helmet. That's fine, but anytime that there's any sort of serious injury risk with a fall or decently loose terrain, I'm gonna wear my helmet. So, I'm okay looking like a nerd. My worst gear choice was my footwear. I chose to wear the Ultra Olympus. These shoes are nice and wide, nice and flexible, which means that they're really wonderful over many miles of hiking. However, when you're doing a scramble and you need to make specific foot placements, you end up having to smear your foot on the rock in order to gain enough friction. So next time, I would use something more like this. This is an approach shoe. This is by La Sportiva. I love it. It's got a much stiffer sole, and it's got climbing rubber all the way around the toe, which means that you can put your toe on just a little fissure in the rock, and that's enough to support your body weight. I wore this when I did Grays and Tories a few weeks later, and I was much, much happier. Cheers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, because I sure did. My dog is barking. Oh no. Have a good day.